UBC, inspiring Uganda. Deeper conversation.
How many teachers in Uganda did you consult? But there's a mistake we are making.
Which is good.
Which is good.
Which is good.
Which is good.
We went to this school, we ran it to Western, we ran it to Northern, we ran, then you come.
Isn't that an achievement?
Objective and non-partisan.
Honorable Minister, there were a number of points. I want to start with you.
Straight from the hearts of open-minded men and women.
Money tends to move faster at night. So when people are not counting,
Don't take it for granted.
Candid and authentic.
Because Uganda is not Thailand.
That's not correct, and we should stop that kind of mentality. So what I'm saying
That's
is
a trick question. Don't answer.
I'm not getting into that. I'm not getting into that.
Tell him you speak low.
I think that's where we are beginning to have a problem.
I think what is going to kill the parish model are all the misconceptions on how it's supposed to run.
I know that the Prime Minister is listening.
Behind the headlines.
Charles, let us agree. We liberalized the economy.
We are several nations put it together.
Why don't you appreciate that?
What if it fails?
I'm happy
And
to
he's
answer.
a good lawyer because Amin is not in power.
The parish development committee is functional. It is there. That there is a parish chief, that the beneficiaries do exist.
So we look at expenditure. We don't look at revenue. And that is the challenge we are giving them from Minister of Finance.
Your fountain of new knowledge, flowing into the mass body of knowledge.
First get the knowledge of Bukedia, how they want to be modernized.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
You return money to the treasury, which is meant for the people.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Good evening, and I wish to welcome you to this edition of Behind the Headlines. This Wednesday, the 7th of December, 2022, about 3 weeks to the end of the year. But here we are, and we are going to be discussing today yet another new topic: why NRM is opposed to early campaign. This week, I think Monday or Tuesday, there was a shouting headline, NRM guiding that early campaigns are not good for the country, that we have just gone through an election. But is there any law that supports that? Why is the ruling party fearing, campaigns? Are they early? Early for who? If I am new, why can't I start introducing my ideas now so that in the next 3-4 years, at least people know me? Would that be an early campaign? What does the law say? What does the Constitution say? To discuss all those, we have from the extreme left, we have Honorable Captain Francis Babu, former minister, former SEC member of the ruling party. You're most welcome back to the show.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having us.
It's always a pleasure to see you. You look bright.
In this new age, when there's a completely new world order, where Spain is beaten, Germany is beaten.
Talk about football.
Yes, no, this is a new world order.
The shockers.
Yes.
No, but they say soccer is soccer, so meaning that anybody can be beaten.
Yeah, where German government is nearly being overthrown. So, these are all new world orders. So
that one is a trick.
I'd like to thank you very much for inviting us.
Thank you so much, Babu, and it's always good pleasure to have you. Next to him is the Honorable Hamson Obua. He is the government chief whip and is an MP as well for Ajuri in the Great Lango region. Honorable, you're most welcome back to the show. I think we hosted you here once. and but I think when you were still in sports, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much for the invitation. Good evening, fellow Ugandans watching UBC from within and without. I am humbled to be here. Thank you.
Good. Next to Honorable Obua is another son of this country, former banker, a finance man. He likes talking money and business. The Honorable Paul Omara, he is Otuke MP. You know, I like the true pronunciation of that constituency. It is not Otuke, as some people say. It is Otuke.
Otuke. Thank you very much. Good evening, viewers. Thank you very much, Charles, for inviting us here again for this topical discussion.
Thank you. And finally, we have next to me here is a political analyst. He's a man who some people say he shoots first and aims later. Mr. Frank Gashumba is a political activist and a businessman. And Frank, what were you saying again, that the other title you told me? Do you want to be introduced by it? You're welcome.
I'm a leader without a title.
A leader without a title.
Yes.
But it's good to have you here. I think it's your maiden appearance.
And I think I last appeared on UBC in 2007.
Wow.
2007.
Good. It's good to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to join the discussion, we are streaming live on YouTube. That's UBC Television Uganda on YouTube. But if you want to join the discussion through a question or comment, you can also send your message through 0709 602592. I will repeat that, 0709 602592. Kindly send in your message or comment or a question that you would want any of these gentlemen on the panel to respond to. Send it early enough so that we can incorporate it in the discussion. But also we are broadcasting via hashtag, the hashtag then UBC behind the headlines, and that hashtag is through Twitter. I want to apologize for starting late, but here we are. Let us begin the discussion. I want to start with the Honorable Chief Whip, Honorable Hamson Obua. You are, by virtue of your position, you are a member of SEC, I think, and you sit in there, you either sit or you once in a while attend their meetings. Where is this wisdom coming from, if I may call it so? Why are you scared of campaigns, if I may say that?
Thank you so much, Charles. It is, first of all, on record that the National Resistance Movement is not scared of an election, because you know our past, our record, and the fact that the people of Uganda, after every 5 years in the recent past, have always elected the National Resistance Movement unanimously. So that is a fact. Secondly, as a Christian, I want to believe in that verse in the Bible that says there is a time and a season for everything.
Is that from Ecclesiastes?
Absolutely.
I think about 9 or 12 there.
Ecclesiastes.
Yeah.
You boys must have attended Sunday school.
1 year, 6 months ago, the people of Uganda witnessed the swearing-in ceremony, or ceremonies, of a new government, from the president to parliament to local government. And that government was put in place to serve for 5 years at the respective levels. And I believe that 1 year, 6 months down the road of the 5 years, this time is not yet ripe for us to put the country in an election mood. Why do I say so? One is that this is the time for us as leaders entrusted by the people of Uganda to serve in various capacities to deliver the desired services that they want from us. And you know, overall, they voted overwhelmingly NRM. So whether you have in the local government leaders of UPC, of DP, of FDC, but the government at the central level is the National Resistance Movement. So we strongly believe it is time, it is a season for us to deliver the desired services to the people of Uganda. And when we put the country in this mood of electioneering 24 hours in 7 days, I think we missed the point of service delivery. And I think that is why the national chairman of NRM and the president of Uganda, having seen, having heard what was transpiring, especially from within the NRM itself, by some members, he had to come out and say, my members, please look, this is not time for us to start campaigns. Let's focus on delivering the services that we committed. Let's focus on implementing the manifesto of the National Resistance Movement. When time comes, that is when the National Resistance Movement, through its known procedure, through its known requirement, through its known process, will embark on a process to campaign. And I think he said it in very, very good faith, and I want to take it in good faith. Because the moment we turn the country into an election mood, 1 year, 6 months, when a government established to serve for 5 years until May, June 2026, there will not be any other election apart from a by-election in the likely event of one of the leaders passing on. Okay. Because this government will be around at whatever level for 5 years.
Okay. Honorable Babu, you were in SEC. Mm-hmm. Did it ever arise that SEC or even the ruling party, through its non-organs, instruct the country that, no, you are not going to campaign? Is it necessary? Does campaign, if I may use it in quotation, inverted commas, does it stop service delivery from being assured? Mm-hmm. If we were campaigning?
Very good questions. But what you're talking about are symptoms. Symptoms of a bigger problem. In my opinion, and a very sincere opinion, and I have this very strongly, we have failed to understand the workings of multi-parties. A dispensation given to us, and each one of us is in those parties, but not knowing how to work on their parties and how to make the parties strong enough. I think what you're talking about is a symptom of a few people who are afraid of competition, who thinks that the early bird catches the worm. Now, the laws are very clear on this one. In fact, the minister has been very kind to say what the people in government think, what that should be done. It sounds reasonable to me, but unfortunately, the people in government are refusing the people who are not in government to do the same. If you are in government, and for you can go and inaugurate a farming platform, go to the fishing village, go to wherever it is, and then the people who are in the other parties want to do the same, and you actually not only stop them, you actually even arrest them.
Government is giving service, delivering service.
Yeah, very good. But you see, I'm a member of parliament of an area. Mm-hmm. I belong to another party. I want to do exactly the same, so that to take the messages to my people from parliament and from government that the parish model works this way. Mm. And so I get my people to come together, and in that small meeting which we sort of put up together, you come and arrest me, and even arrest my people. I think this is where the problem is. But let me go back. I just gave you a very quick synopsis of what is being said outside. Mm-hmm. Now, the problem with multi-party and democracy for that matter is one word which frightens everybody: competition.
Competition.
Wherever there is competition, be it in football, be it anywhere, a few traits and symptoms do come out. Some people use their positions to do that campaign quietly. Others use money. Others threaten. Others blackmail. Others do all sorts of things. So these are part of the fear of competition. And the fear of competition is very interesting. People have gone as far as even taking lives. Not only in Uganda, everywhere in the world, this has happened. Now, my sincere submission is that we've never understood how multi-parties work. We think we do when we put on different colors of shirts and run around as if we are in a Christmas carol song running around. But the whole point is, do we understand how these parties work? Do we understand multipartism? Do we understand that kind of liberal democracy that we have copied? Because the democracy we have here is not ours. We've copied it from somewhere, put it in our constitution, and we have a model. Now that model, I'd like us to believe that we have failed to use it effectively. And it's not only here. If you look at the country that ruled us for 70 years, they're having a problem with the same democracy. If you read in the last, I think, two or 3 years.
You're talking about the UK?
Yes, they're having a circus. That is a circus. In fact, I think one of the great people, wise wisdom, said, you know, we are going to elect to a conscience that at the end of the day, in the White House, we'll end up with an imbecile. So, to me, really, at the end of the day, the question is we must ask ourselves, and not to talk about what we're talking about now, because a few people are doing exactly what others have been doing. We are worried because some people have come up with some methods of campaign which we've never seen before, probably. My argument is this thing did not start today. And therefore, I don't see why people are worried, because they've been doing it for the years I've known. The intrigue there is in this whole thing is unbelievable. The conspiracy theories, the things that people talk about, is very, very unfortunate. But what has happened up to now, there has been a tendency for those who have got the capacity to do so to start campaigning immediately after they've just got out of the election. They start campaigning again. It's been happening. Yeah. And some of them pretend not to be campaigning, but they use other groups to do their campaign. So the whole point is, have we had enough discipline to do what the minister has just said? The answer is no. We have not done it. Whoever the chairman or the person who said, oh, you know, we want to build our country, we should not do this and do that. But his members are culprit of what is going on. They come up with all sorts of ways and means of doing it. So let me very quickly tell you, we've got a system, a model of multipartism that we have copied. We have not yet got the right rules for it. All of us do not want to understand it. And we therefore have to sit down and say, how do we make it work? Because as far as I'm concerned, it's not working. Because you can't have one group being able to have meetings, being able to have people in a stadium, and then a group that turns up somewhere to have a small meeting is harassed and is told not to take part. So I think at the end of the day, and I'll be very frank with you, we must go back to the drawing table and come out with a new approach to the whole thing. And I am sorry to say, you talked about NRM. The NRM you have now in my opinion, was hijacked 10 years ago. And the people who hijacked it, you have different methods of work.
10 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
So you can even put a timeline
Oh,
to
yes. Oh, yes. This has not happened today, what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They've been doing it.
Okay.
They've been doing it to an extent that, I am sorry to say this, some of the things which are done really should not even be talked about. There's so much intrigue in the whole thing that the truth will never come out the way it's supposed to come out. If you do, you'll be accused of doing this, of doing that. I think the whole point is we can do better than what we're doing now.
Okay.
We can change our attitude.
Okay.
It needs a change of mindset. And by the way, I called the Electoral Commission because I was told you were going to talk about this. And I asked them, what does the rule say? All right?
What did they say?
Well, they said, first of all, somebody there's no rule which says somebody cannot declare himself that I want to stand for a position.
Yeah.
There's no such rule
No
that
such
will
law
stop
either.
you. So you are free to say, I want to stand for this. That's number one. Number two, he said, what's the difference between campaigning in a rally and having a ceremony of some sort? How do you distinguish the two? So he told me, he says, oh, there's no rule about the ceremony. People are free.
Yeah.
So the whole point is, when somebody goes to a football match, and then everybody has a soda, is that campaigning? So he told me, he says, you see, the rule only tells us about calling a rally for the purpose of politicking.
Yeah.
That one, we have the law which says you'll only wait until they've declared that there's going to be an election, and then you can do that, and then they will give you areas where you can go and have your campaign.
On that note, from there, let me just bring the analogy to Honorable Paul Omara. Right now, the World Cup is going on. FIFA, using their rules, have called the countries. They started from the qualifiers. They organized it and they qualified. The whistle had been blown. Then they went into now the World Cup finals. From the preliminaries, then now knockout stages. But was there any rule that stopped a country from preparing for World Cup 2022 from 2018?
Thank you, Charles. And I want to appreciate my two senior colleagues for the brilliant submissions which they have made. Charles, the answer to that is that there's nothing that stops any country from preparing early enough for the World Cup. I think in our case for Uganda, there are a lot of other things that we need to consider. And it mainly comes into legislation. Because if you look at the electoral laws limits the time when you can do electioneering. It is time when you are supposed to be nominated, and it's when the whistle will be blown, that's when you carry out with elections. When it ends, you are supposed to end it as well. Then also we have the POMA, Public Order Management Act, which is also another legislation, which prescribes that actually in the interpretation, in the actual law, it might not be very restrictive, but the application is restrictive, that for you to have a meeting, you need to have police permission anywhere in Uganda. So you cannot now undertake electioneering. You would actually to go to the police to seek for permission for you to carry out a political activity. So when the authorities say you're not going to do it, you cannot do it. So I think we need to look to have a national consensus where we need to discuss these issues and agree fundamentally that if we are in a multi-party dispensation, what are the key issues that should be common to all? We should be able to agree on those, and then we go into the legislation and making sure that there is no inhibition in terms of other parties participating in the political activity. So in the present moment, it's going to be very difficult for any political organization or individual to engage in a political activity because campaigns are restricted in law. And then secondly, you have POMA, for which you need to seek permission from police to have any political activity. So those are really key fundamental things. And the other second one, of course, which is in terms of where we are coming from, is that we've just had an election, and there also can be election fatigue. And also we are coming back from the backdrop of COVID-19. So there's a sense in which, as a country, we need to focus on and make sure we rebuild the economy, we focus on service delivery, as indicated by the government chief whip, that the focus is let us rebuild, let us implement, let's provide service. So if you mix the two, there are also, of course, a tendency for some disruption of a nature. But as they say, freedoms, fundamental freedoms of association and interaction with each other cannot be restricted in law. So fundamentally for me is, if you want to do an electioneering, like Kenya, for example, Raila is already in the countryside, big rallies yesterday. And they have just come out of an election. And you see, because there is no restriction in law, they can go and undertake it anywhere. But you can't do it here. Within NRM, there is also a sense that there's going to be a challenge. My brother here will give us insight. The institutional discipline. For example, if the party says, as members, let us focus, like elected party like NRM will say, let us focus and deliver the manifesto. It would be a big challenge for another party member to stand and say, no, for me, I'm heading up for 2026. So I need to prepare ground and organize so that I become a challenger to the president, the elected president of the next 5 years. So you actually find that within NRM, there would be another candidate here, and there's a sitting president. So that is also something that will also be managed within the institutional discipline. So let's not only look at the position that it is maybe NUP, not having the opportunity to carry out a political campaign. It could also be from within, a challenger saying, for me, I want to be a candidate. Me, Paul Omar, I want to be a candidate in 2026. Yeah. And I should be able to move around and meet the NRM party branches, and I sell my ideas to them. So that is also another aspect that we should be able to look at. And I want to agree with my elder, Mzee Babu, that, Honorable Babu, that our understanding of multipartyism is still very limited. And the practice also is not yet fully enhanced. Because in a normal democracy, if you win an election and you form a government, the other party will start on you immediately. Because they will poke holes in every wrong move that you do, but which is good by default for the citizenry, because the citizens get to benefit from the onslaught between parties. So you know that we cannot make a mistake if this is our manifesto. We should be able to deliver on it because we are being checked. The checking that we have here is basically through Parliament, by Parliament having an oversight activity on what the executive is doing. And we have an opposition in Parliament that might be able to voice any kind of displeasure to the public through the appropriate channels like TV or through the parliamentary debates. So we are limited to that extent, but in the open political contestation, we are limited by law.
Thank you very much. Let me come to Mr. Frank Gashumba here. Frank, you and your team have particularly been pointed out, and that you have started early campaigns, that you have injected some rare energy that should not be injected now in people. And I'm saying your team, the so-called MK group, and like Honorable Chief Whip has said, that having had what was transpiring, especially within NRM, you and your team are planning to, form parties and all that. Is this the right time? Why are you campaigning before you have been invited to campaign? Why are you fearing to wait for the rules to be let out?
Before I can answer that, I think I spoke to you earlier in the day. As a Ugandan, I have to warn Entebbe Express Highway road users. It's a rainy season, it's too slippery. Today I narrowly survived an accident. And I was not overspeeding, I was between 60 and 70. So if we're using Entebbe Express Highway and it's a rainy day, please, as possible as you can, limit your speed. Otherwise, we want to see you alive. Now, you said we've not started the campaigns. We are consulting Ugandans.
Consultation?
Yes, there's a big difference between the campaigns.
That rally you held in Arua?
It was not we are consulting. You've just said it. The World Cup is in Qatar. The next one is in the US. 2026, I think. Teams are already preparing. You get it? So we traveled to Arua, we've been to Mbale, we've been to Mbarara. We are going all over the country. We are consulting Ugandans. What are the challenges they are facing? So that by the ample time we have the answers to their problems. But as far as campaigns are concerned, we are not campaigning. And if you did ask me my honest opinion, I don't believe we should have elections in Uganda, personally. Even after 5 years, the elections in Uganda. Have the lives of Ugandans improved? Ugandans need stable electricity, running water, good roads, good hospitals, and good schools. All of us are watching Qatar now. Are there elections in Qatar? No. Are there elections in Saudi Arabia? No. Are there elections in Dubai? No. The countries we admire so much, the countries like China, how many times do you hear about elections? To me, the topic should have been, yes, you are saying you guys are preparing for elections, your campaigns have started. Do we still need them? Even after 5 years, Ugandans participate in elections. Have their lives improved? Why I must supplement on what Honorable Babu said, when he consulted the Uganda Electoral Commission, he was told there is no law stopping Ugandans from campaigning. And some ministers, like my friend who happens to be the chief whip, the moment he attends the function to meet Selali, we can't wait for our competitors to set guidelines. We have to be on the ground.
We cannot wait for our competitors to set guidelines.
No way. No way, we can't. We can't wait for them. For them, they are campaigning. For us, we are consulting. When the time comes, that's when we shall sort ourselves, boys and men. You get it? We cannot allow that. But we've not had a single rally. I know what a rally is. Because Ferrari must authorize you, they must give you guidelines. But what we are doing now, we are consulting. And we are doing it day and night. I think something that is new in Uganda is the power of the social media. Because our Supreme Leader puts up one tweet, and it's everywhere.
Supreme.
Yes, our Supreme Leader, General MK. One tweet, and it's everywhere.
I nearly thought it was the Kibuli man.
You get it? Yeah. Because for us who are under him, we take him as our Supreme Leader. He puts up one tweet. By the way, he has changed the way Ugandans communicate. Because in every WhatsApp group that you know of, you'll see MK's tweet. Unless our brothers think that's another way of campaigns, then the laws must be changed. But as far as I know, we are moving day by day. Actually, we are having nationwide consultations. We are having leaders from at every level. Because by the time we are out into elections, we must know what are we going to address.
So who do you think the NRM was talking about if there is no campaign?
Who said? Mr. Tango, no. The Secretary General?
The Secretary General.
I don't know whom he was telling, because he has.
You don't think you are the one? Do you want to ask? Do you want to ask Honorable Bua when he says, having had what was transpiring within NRM, who do you think they are referring to?
If he was talking to
that is
NRM,
campaigning?
we don't belong to NRM. Absolutely. He was ganging NRM voters. For us, we are not targeting NRM voters in our constituents. We don't belong to him. He cannot even command us on what to do. We know who tells us on what to do. You get it?
You guys are just cunning.
No. He has an office at Chadondo, isn't it? He has an office at Chadondo. He has the right to gang his members under his structure. But the press release, I think the headline I saw on the top of New Vision does not even affect our operations.
So for you are going to continue with the consultation?
Even after a year. We are moving 24 hours. Even after a year. And as I'm seated here, meetings are going on. Actually,
Charles,
before coming here, I attended the meeting at Katikati. You're meeting it. Yes.
Charles, I wanted to ask my brother a question.
Please go ahead. And feel free to ask yourselves questions.
Yes.
Let's keep it a discussion.
Yes.
Yeah. General MK is a very interesting individual.
Yes.
And you're correct that his tweets actually, a moment he tweets, it goes all over the place.
Yes.
There's only one thing I'm concerned about, is that as peace-loving and law-abiding citizens,
yes,
all that we do should be done within the ambits of the law.
Yes.
If you look at this democracy that we see is a fractured democracy. At one particular point, and not very long ago, Uganda was a failed state.
Yes.
By 1986, Uganda was a completely failed state. For us, some of us, we lived in it. And so we have progressed this fragile democracy to now. We have not yet perfected that democracy and our union. But we have put in, fundamentally, we have very important laws in place in the country. That has really kept us, to a greater extent, safe. Yeah. MK is a serving military general, still in uniform.
Yes.
The UPDF Act says that, and the Constitution, by the way, the UPDF Act says that when you are in uniform, you should remain completely apolitical. Don't get involved in party politics or anything.
Yes.
It is within his democratic right to stand. So the question is, how do you then balance the Constitution, the UPDF Act, in terms of his participation aggressively in politics? Because if I were in his position,
through consultation,
I would I would talk to the relevant authorities within the UPDF and the command-in-chief and say, as a serving general, I respect this uniform and the institution which I've served diligently for many years. But where my interest is, like in America, generals actually, you serve for a certain period and you leave. You must not stay there. That's also another problem.
It's 3, 5, 7, 9 years.
Yes, you go. So it's only here where generals are kept.
No, after 9 years in America, you can stay for good.
You can stay for good.
Yeah, if you want to.
If you want. So the generals we should reach a point also and say, if a general wants to leave, we should make it easy for them to leave and be politically active. So my question to you is that, don't you think that your activity violates the very laws that have kept us safe, especially given our history and the kind of violence that this country has gone through because of political and military activities?
My senior, first of all, General MK has not come out and said he's standing for the presidency. He hasn't. We know he's still behind the bars. He's still in the military. When you're still a serving arm officer, you have to go by the rules of UPDF. But we as his fans, people who believe in him, people who believe that he qualifies to be the president of Uganda, and we know he's the next president, by the way. We believe we have the right to do work on his behalf, as long as we don't tamper with the laws of Uganda. First, if we are having a consultative meeting, let's say in Masaka, we notify all security bodies, Uganda police, blah, 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 so that there is no scuffle there. That's what we do. As I speak now, we've not violated any law. And again, the president of Uganda, General Yoweri Museveni, there are people who believe he still qualifies to be the president of Uganda. He has a big constituency of Bazukuru who are saying Tova Kumeini that President Yoweri Museveni should continue leading this country. Those Bazukuru are traveling house to house, constituency by constituency, saying that the best president General Museveni can give this country called Uganda is to stand in 2026. You get it? They have their right to say that President Museveni qualifies to come in 2026, as long as they don't violate the laws. The way we are saying that we believe it's the right time that our brother MK is discharged from the military and he takes over the presidency, as long as we don't break the laws, the way the supporters of President Museveni are saying. And I have many friends who don't believe in General MK, and they still believe that President Museveni should lead this country. As long as we don't fight each other, as long as there is a honest conversation, the way we are here, I don't see any problem with it.
Okay. Good. Good time to have the exchanges.
But by the way,
yeah,
before you can even bring in the exchanges, the vice chairman of NRM, Haj Moses Chigongo, has endorsed President Yoweri Museveni to run in 2026. Several ministers, Honorable Mululi Mukasa, General Tafire, many retired army generals have come out to say that President Yoweri Museveni should be on the ballot paper. The only thing I know, when General Yoweri Museveni appears on the ballot paper, be sure that is the president-elect.
You are sure?
That one I know. The moment he appears on a ballot paper,
even you, the potential competitors.
As long as we are not in the race. But the disadvantage we have, the only person who can discharge our candidate is him. He's the commander-in-chief. You get it?
That's a huge disadvantage.
That's a huge disadvantage. That's why we are not bombarding General Yoweri Museveni with insults. No, we are requesting him
to release.
Because you cannot work on Museveni with blackmail. You can't.
You are requesting him to release.
Yes, to release our lion, you know. You get it? That's what we are doing.
Now these guys are
going to ensure that as long as he's on a ballot paper,
he will not release your candidate.
Be sure he will be in Kololo as the president-elect.
Now, let me share with you thoughts of some Ugandans who have already joined the queue of discussion. Samuel from Arua City says, all what Ugandans need now is service delivery. That is part of public accountability. Politicians should have love for this country, not because we need electricity and good roads. In West Nile, we need roads. Our roads were made 5 years ago from Karuma to Arua City, but it is already spoiled. All we need is service delivery. That is Samuel from Arua City. Another person here says, Charles, you people are discussing some issues going wrong in this country, but some of us are really suffering in the hands of NSSF. Like for me, my problem is I retired from my work in 2017. I'm 64 years old now, and I started following up my benefits from NSSF. They have not paid me. They keep telling me I go to my bank, which is Centenary, and I'm ever going and getting nothing. How are you helping me? I am called Mr. Dima Robert, former employee of URA. Please, my brothers, help me. I can see my elder. Papa, Honorable Papa Francis Babu is there. Kindly help me. This is serious. But he's saying that you people are discussing here, this is what is making me suffer. So he needs to be responded to. NSSF, I'm sure you have heard that. Someone else says, good evening, panelists. The moderator asked a question whether FIFA can punish a member country of an impromptu football match or preparation match. The guy says the answer is yes, FIFA can punish. And I will come back to Honorable Bua because he's the immediate past former minister for sports.
Yes.
And then he says, you don't just wake up and organize matches. And then someone called Gerald, the chair of NRM Sinjiro district, says, good evening, my brother Charles. As long as SEC members continue doing those fake endorsements, I don't think we shall stop. He says, I agree with MK. Now NRM is surely blocking other members. So for us, we are not happy about it. Otherwise, nobody is interested to hear that NRM is for historicals only, not for Ugandans. For us, we need unity as a country, not only NRM for individuals. I am Gerald, Chair Isinjiro District. Then another person says, I am called Imran Chimera from Mayuge District. I think NRM has just developed fear, but let everyone express their interest. Thank you, Charles. Another one says, good evening, Ugandans. NRM would be right, but it used to be their culture to campaign throughout. Yet other Ugandans who are inferior do not campaign. I am Solomon from Palisa. Let the laws of Uganda not bite some people, but everybody. The issue of multi-party in our country is a rumor.
That's a point. Point.
Babu says that is point. Honorable Omara of Otuke, kindly guide me. There is some time back when MK team was cheering and moving around. Was he not campaigning? I don't know. I'm just asking. But I like the debate. This is Biaruhanga Francis from Nansana. Then another person says, headline, today your ratio of politicians are not well balanced. Where is the opposition? Let me see. I don't know, but I have good panelists. I don't know. Frank Gashumba here is an opposition. And then he says, where is Madame Birete and the man of Kanyandahi Rutete? Otherwise, I'm here enjoying the program. Greetings to Mr. Gashumba, a man of all seasons. Then I have someone from Tororo called Arima Issa. He says, the most important thing to note is that leadership is key for the progressive growth of a nation, coupled with efficient service delivery and accountability. Anything else other than that does not count. And then, hello moderator, I am Sevakachi Ibrahim. I totally agree with all Ugandans who say that multipartyism is just a rumor. It's only NRM that we have in Uganda. Then Gerald from Luka says, tell Frank Gashumba that whatever has a beginning has an end, and it will be soon. Then someone here, I'm going to read two more because we have too many of the messages, and we thank you for that. This one is called Seva. This one is called Sevaka, and he says, "Hello, moderator." No, I think this one I have read. Then there is Godwin Sasirabo from Mbarara Ruti. He says, "Good evening, Charles. I used to think that opposition in Uganda are realistic, but they are not. So personally, I support Team MK. So Mr. Gashumba, I'm strongly with you. I wish I can get your full support, and I also continue mobilizing my youth and friends for Team MK. Then I'm reading two more. This person says, the DRC scenario should not happen in Uganda. The father to son and son to the son. Finally, let me pick one more from Butaleja. The person says, I'm Peter from Butaleja. We need service delivery in our district and our roads are not okay. That is from Butaleja. We will read more of the messages when we come back from the break and as the discussion goes on. Since I see we are just entering 11 p.m., let's take the break right now, and then when we come back, I will take the debate and discussion back to the panel, starting with Honorable Obua, the Chief Whip, who is here to answer many of the questions, together joined in the discussion by Honorable Captain Francis Babu, Honorable Paul Omara, and Frank Gashumba. Let's go for that debate, for that break.
MTN kutusako Shimba Life ku Kampala Serena Hotel Victoria Hall Friday nga mwena December Niku Saturday nga 10 December Okuingira shinje mtwalo 15 Emeze likabantu omunana ya milioni 3 Hate alebadi wagulanga bujali Mtwalo 10 Eno 2 days mega concert Ku Sunday nga 11 Freedom City 16 December Chotela Mchawe 17 December Mbarara Ajip Motel 18 December Fort Porto au Mubuhinga Stadium Connections mtwalo mu VIP mtwale 3 Beautiful Shimba Swag Mama Ice Cream Queen Kama Wakukonko na nyimba zezona hit to hit Kati musale wunga buchalava Tusale ko Serena Mwigeno wana bubaira mos butekelo Wabana bubasiria pizza matuga mpuma Kati event Leti setinze Ne
MTN. It's our mission to secure your money.
Protecting your money is as important as earning it. It is for this reason that the Deposit Protection Fund of Uganda, DPF, was established by the government of Uganda to provide deposit protection to customers of regulated financial institutions. In the unlikely event that your commercial bank, credit institution, or microfinance deposit-taking institution fails, the DPF will pay you up to 10 million Uganda shillings. Keep your personal information such as national identification number, mobile phone, or an alternative bank account updated with your banker. Terms and conditions apply. For more information, contact DPF at Aha Towers, Plot 7 Lodell Road, Kampala. Call 0312-206-400 or visit our website at www.dpf.or.ug.
We are the DPF. We protect your money. Protection Fund of Uganda.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is no longer news that Ebola is with us. Please wash your hands with the soap every now and then. For the entire business community, ladies and gentlemen, let us lead by example. Let us sensitize our customers and let us be cautious. Avoid the handshaking, avoid the hugs, because it is dangerous for everyone.
If you, your loved ones, or anyone else in your community is experiencing any Ebola signs and symptoms, immediately inform the health officials in your area. You can also call 0800 100 066 or text 8500 for free to notify the health authorities. Together, we can beat Ebola. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from USAID, WHO, and UNICEF.
Paying for groceries the old way.
3, 4. Yeah. Tell me.
Paying for groceries with the My Airtel app. You have the power in your pocket. The power to conveniently pay for goods and services. Unlock that power with the My Airtel app. Visit the App Store or Google Play now. That's my wife.
Do you need data collection services, data analysis and reporting, monitoring and evaluation systems? Then contact Mold Technologies, a professional research firm that has provided many organizations with timely research solutions for over 15 years. For more information, visit www.mt.co.ug or call us on 0704 913 399 or 0782 602 963. Visit our office in Kampala at Sayuni Complex in Tinda. Mood Technologies, your professional research firm.
Did you know that a cashless, secure, and convenient lifestyle is possible with Airtel Money Pay? Pay for your goods and services in the following simple steps. Dial *185*9#. Enter the merchant ID. Enter the amount. Enter payment reference, for example, school items. Please enter PIN to confirm. You will receive a confirmation message for a successful transaction. Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
We're coming back. Welcome back from the break. Let me just recap that we are discussing. The topic is why is NRM opposed to early campaigns? Is it necessary? Is it guided by law? And of course, questions have now been raised, new questions, that why must a competitor be the one to decide the rules for the competition? In the studio, we have the Honorable Captain Francis Babu. We have Honorable Hamson Obua, Chief Whip. We have the Honorable Paul Omara, MP Otuke, and we have Frank Gashumba, who is a political activist and a businessman, and in other assignments, he also speaks for Team MK. Someone listening to us called Louis, all the way from Gulu, says, good evening, Charles. Greetings to all the panelists, and I'm happy to see my young brother, Honorable Samson. May, to Frank Gashumba is, in view of their ongoing consultations, what do they stand for? For Ugandans to take seriously, besides the challenges of the NRM being their descendants. But Louis, Frank has just said that they are not NRM. So that's question number one answered. The rest I will ask Frank to answer in the discussion body. But gentlemen, I now the second segment is now open to, keep it interactive. Let's keep it pop, and to the point, maybe 1 minute, 2 minutes each, so that we can have as much time to engage as possible, including with the outside, with the viewers out of the studio. Honorable Frank, Hamson Obua, there were many questions that were thrown in your path. I need you to start by answering that. And feel free if you want to interject or inform maybe one of the members on holding the floor. Honorable Obua.
Thank you so much. In the interest of time and for all intent and purposes, let me try to speak in parables, but using the analogy of football, because it kept coming. Of course, you know, we are watching World Cup. Number one is that, can any member state of FIFA organize a game? It is yes and no. Yes, you can organize if that game falls within the calendar of FIFA. Even a friendly match, as long as it does not fall within, you can't have it. But the moment it falls within, you will. What does that imply? It implies that for every game, there are rules and regulations. And the rules and regulations are not set during or after, but they are set before.
Good.
For you to follow. Number two, in the game of football again, even if the referee is your brother and you are a player and you would want to get a penalty, you can't be faulted in the middle of the field and you start demanding for a penalty. At least try your best to be faulted within the 18-yard box in order for you to receive that penalty as a gift from your brother who is a referee.
You don't fall outside the box.
Not outside the box.
And then you say you need a penalty.
I need a penalty.
Frank, are you hearing?
That penalty will not be granted. Now, thirdly, I want to clarify. In my honest opinion, His Excellency the President, who doubles as the chairman at the national level of NRM, his message to me is predominantly going to the National Resistance Movement members. These ministers we are talking about who are doing the endorsement now all over the country, who are members of the NRM, in my honest opinion, are the people he's saying, my members, please, this is not time for it under our rules. You are also aware that when the president made this statement at Kololo, he had been invited and there were many young people and a number of them were urging him that please Muzei, come 2026, we need you. That is when he came and he said, please, my Bazukulu, the time for what you are demanding is not now. So his message, in a nutshell, in my humble opinion, is more appealing to his members of his party. Not even the other political parties. He's telling them, please, it is not time. The whistle has not yet been blown. We have just played the game. We have just been elected. Give us time to deliver what we promise, such that when time for what you are demanding now comes, we will be able to say, please re-elect us based on A. People are talking about roads. We have had discussions in parliament. We have had discussions in cabinet. In fact, on Monday, His Excellency himself was talking about the plan for more resources for the road sector in the coming budget for the next financial year in cabinet on Monday. Because everywhere, members of parliament, society believes that we construct roads, but we do not. We do appropriation for roads to be constructed. There are demands for health centers. There are demands for schools. We know that the population of Uganda has grown from 6 million to now 40 plus million. That means the demand for service delivery has equally increased. So in a nutshell, I have stated the three facts.
Good.
And those are fundamental facts. Maybe if you give me a little latitude, I am conflicted really to make a comment on my brother and friend, General MK, but let me state the fundamentals, but not the basics. Just to allude to the fact that, first of all, just like Honorable Mara said, is a serving
Army officer.
Army officer. And is guided by the rules already in place and the laws of Uganda. I believe the day my brother and friend makes a decision to join politics, first of all, is cognizant of the attendant rules at the moment. He will subject himself to those rules. One is to quit active service in the military, to retire, such that those rules cannot catch up with you, is to retire. But I want to agree with my brother. We may share the sentiments together, Frank Gashumba, on the next, but the fundamental question may be when, because for me, for now, President Museveni is still the president of Uganda. So when the next comes, definitely, we may share, but I think we may differ only on when. Yeah, we may share. But can we subject ourselves to the
do
rules?
you also share with him the fear?
I may not share with him the fear. In
that,
principle,
you may,
I
you may,
share
that
the
you may
trajectory.
decide that you may say that let him first remain here.
My brother, if President Museveni does not stand in 2026 and MK is retired from the military, would you support him for the presidency?
Now you have started doing your work here. You are campaigning here.
I'm not
For now, the
I'm
rules.
consulting.
For
I'm
now,
not
the rules. It is too early. I don't want to. You know, in Parliament, our rules do not allow us to debate.
Speculation.
In anticipation.
In anticipation.
So let's not anticipate.
Charles, I'm just adding, our elder will come in, just adding what the minister has said. You see, the most disciplined institution of government in Uganda here is UPDF. Very, very disciplined. And they have been able to achieve that because of maybe two things: great training and discipline. Those two. Now, one could be the son of the president. I would be more direct, not speaking in parables. You could be the son of the president. The onus to judge yourself harshly is actually sits with you in relation to the law and the public perceptions outside there. So you would ask yourself, if any general, any other general, were to come and bluntly come out and say, I'm going to do this, what would the reaction have been? So you actually should save the commander-in-chief from perception issues. That means, and I want to agree with the minister, is that you stay away, you keep the discipline of the army, and then at an appropriate time, when actually you're released, then you can go full.
You fall within the box.
Actually,
but a moment you continue with that, the public perception then would be, you see, the commander-in-chief is favoring the son. He can bluntly violate the UPDF Act and the Constitution, and nothing happens. And many people are questioning, I said, why is the president silent when General MK is doing this thing? So I think he needs to have self-restraint and to say, I am a law-abiding citizen, I am the first son, and I have an ambition to be president. And when you're president, by day you swear by the Bible or the Quran to uphold the Constitution.
Senior.
So that I just want to do that for emphasis, that let us respect that, and that is very core for the stability of our country.
Okay, Frank, before you come, Honorable Babu had raised his hand. Honorable Babu, go for it.
Frankly speaking, I'm a little bit worried. I'm worried because you people have forgotten Uganda. All of you are diverting our country from this recession which is on our doorstep. Our country in the next few months is going to suffer. I hear people talking about roads, I don't know what. The recession is here. Our people are going to have problems. The international community that used to give us money, some of them have stopped giving us money because of our indiscipline. By the way, the indiscipline is not only in Uganda, it's the whole of Africa. The other day you saw a man scoring a goal and removing his shirt and getting a red card. And that's indiscipline. Indiscipline.
In the World Cup.
That's the first time Africa defeated Brazil in history.
Indiscipline is a very, very crucial word here. What you people are talking about to me right now, with the recession here, is melodrama. What you're talking about now is melodrama, because the rest of this country is suffering. There are people who don't have food. There are people who don't have 1 meal a day. And people are here playing with words, playing with games, And actually, I would like to agree. Probably when we had this revolution, we should have followed our friend in Cuba, not to have these multi-parties and elections. We should have continued the revolution to build our country and get it to a certain level. And by the way, there are some expert economists, and I think Omara will help us here, who claim that democracy cannot work in poor countries.
Yeah.
And therefore, the next question we must answer, is our country ready for this comedy that's going on? Frankly speaking, and please don't get me wrong, any Ugandan is free to stand for any post they want. But when should they do it? Now, who said, do we really need these elections using these multi-parties, or do we need something different?
I said it.
And then, the vestiges of revolution are still here. There are people who are still talking about revolution. There are people who are saying, tomorrow I'm going to remove you as a president. There are, I mean, they are not talking about our people. Our people are getting nothing out of this. They're just being hoodwinked. I'm really hurt that our country is not going to the right direction, and I would like to ask all those people with goodwill to try and help our people so that they can get out of the poverty we're in and get our children to have a better life and our posterity to have a better nation. At this rate, he talked about a failed state. I don't know how far we are. I don't think we are very far if we are not careful. So, we have made laws. You people have been quoting laws. We've been changing laws left, right, and center here, like Maradona playing in front of a goal. This tie, you play around with this. It's like a game. And, when I told you that, I wonder whether we really need these parties. And somebody said that actually you might be right. It might be a dream we are talking about. I would like to go back, and Omara should talk about this. We are going into a recession. And in the next few days, I'm not interested who is going to be a leader. All I'm interested in, how do we get out of these problems and feed our country and make our people a little bit better than what they are. We have nodding disease, we have Ebola here, we have this there. We are talking about a country that needs help. So let us all galvanize ourselves. Let's have a mindset. How do we make our country a better place? You get the IGG telling you that so much money has been got and we are taking it back to the Conseil d'Etat. People are stealing money left, right, and center. Nobody's doing anything about it. And you're taking me about 2026? How about today? When do I eat? I think these are questions that we must put to every Ugandan, including those who are claiming they want to be leaders of this country. I want to hear how they can make Ugandans feel secure. In fact, I think those who want leadership, they are the ones who are insecure. They are so insecure, they are thinking about 2026.
Not now.
Not now. Why don't you make us secure? Why don't you make us get security as Ugandans?
They are thinking about the future they
Which
desire.
they are insecure now because they want to be leaders in 2026.
This is Frank Gashumba.
No. I'm not talking about a particular person.
No, the group.
I am talking about people who are playing on our mind, diverting us from the realities of life.
Oh.
You're right? The realities of life, how our country can go. Look, I wish these people would say, today we are going to make sure that the Acholi man and the Muganda man, the Munyankole man, the Mutoro man, the Munyoro man, we are now Uganda. We are one.
United as a nation.
Yes. And then how do we get out of this boat of poverty? How do we get our people out of this problem of even having food? I want to hear that.
Good.
I am tired of hearing dramas. But what is this thing about army and not army? There are people here who are not army who are more powerful than people in the army. They do things you can't believe. So, I am sorry, I'm a little bit disappointed that our leaders are taking us that way. Today I was listening to a program on one of the radios. There were 4 journalists talking, and one of them said, no, the old man and his son, this is their game. They are playing a game with us. They are playing a game. Again, another melodrama, a conspiracy theory of some sort. Then when you go on social media and you see all sorts of conspiracy theories. The only ones who don't like old men say, no, now we have a young one. So nobody is coming out to tell us. I don't mind who becomes a leader in 2026. And every Ugandan over 18, according to our constitution, is free to stand for that leadership. What I'm talking about is now. How do we make our people get out of their problems? How do we tell a person, your child will go to school after so many months and the school fees will be available? How do we tell our people when you go to the hospital, the medicine will be there? How do we tell our people that we can repair the road to go to your place so that you can take your produce to the market?
Okay.
Those are the things I want to hear.
Good.
This melodrama, no.
Now, that's a new kick in the game for all of us. Who is going to... Frank, do you want to control that ball and play it?
But I think I started it. I said at the start of this show, we've been electing leaders every after 5 years.
There is no change.
Do you see those elections impacting the lives of Ugandans? The answer is zero. A caller, whatever, was it a tweet or a post from Arua, he was complaining about the roads. It's the same. The road from Nyendo to Gomba, it's impassable. It's as if we are living in the 16th century. Leaders must impact lives of Ugandans. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening. The level of extravagance in a government, it's unbelievable. When you see top technocrats, ministers, the type of lives they live, for us who happen to see them on the streets of Kampala, it's unbelievable. But what do? Senior citizen Francis Babu, he has talked about the recession. Now, a person seated in Masaka, in Arua, in Mbarara, how does the recession you are discussing, Lady Ramadhan Gobi, Dr. Ezra Suruma, the best brains ever, to lock themselves in a hotel somewhere and find solutions? Because my mother seated in Masaka, for her she does not even know what recession means. For her what she wants, if she can afford a kilo of sugar, if she can afford a kilo of meat. So there are things that should be left to the best brains to do the economics. I can tell you, Captain Francis Babu, you are not alone. You are also dying silently. Everything is messed up in this country. Everything. But we don't see solutions to them. We don't see. You've talked of radio stations. If I was even the president of Uganda, there are many things we must change. What we broadcast on air, on social media, it's the same. You can hardly find a conversation to do. How do we live a better Uganda for our children? You can hardly find one. When you watch our MPs on the floor of parliament, you wonder, is this a parliament of what? When you attend an event where technocrats are, you wonder, you can hardly hear a word, a country called Uganda. It's about the present, not the future. Chairman Mao Zedong of China made a brilliant statement that democracy will return to China 300 years after his death, that ordinary people want social services, hospitals, schools, the infrastructure. Do we see it in Uganda? And by the way, even if we put up the best roads, like those we see in the Middle East, what are we doing on those roads? We may be having good roads, but it's Rugambo on the roads. These roads must be carrying productive activities. Do we see it? Again, it goes back to Captain Francis Babu. He talked about the mindset. Unless we work on the mindset of the youth. My minister, Honorable Obo, I had a meeting with him. And the meeting was rotating about the mindset. Why is it that every plane we board, when you are flying out of Uganda to Dubai, 70% of occupants are our youth traveling to do those terrible dirty jobs in the Middle East. And when you board the same plane, 70% of occupants are Chinese and the Indians coming to Uganda. What are those opportunities they see in Uganda that we can't see? It's taking us back to the schools where our children go to. Do we meant our children to pass P7, Senior 4, Senior 6, and the university? Those are the questions we should be having. If I was party to this government, we should lock ourselves in a hotel or in Sese or in Arua. What can we do to the mindset of the youth?
I host you in Otuke
Yes,
district.
we need serious solutions. When you see the level of anger in the youth, and sometimes you sympathize with them. Look at a young boy who graduated from Akere, from Mobs, from Chambogo. 4 years on the road, he has no job. And you find the same young girl. I met a young girl. She graduated from Makerere. As a lawyer, from Makerere, she went to LDC. And those that have been to LDC tell you that graduating from LDC, it's a battle. The girl who graduates from LDC, and the salary someone can offer her is 450,000 Uganda shillings. Can you imagine? That's like $100. Those are the things we must be discussing. And those are the things we discuss with MK. We are not simply saying MK is a potential leader. He must come up with solutions. It's not as easy as you may think. We need practical solutions. Back to the politics, you said that campaigns have started. Do you know how it started? This social media radio revolution to do with the MK is the one putting up fire everywhere. On the 19th of October, the office of the national chairman of NRM, I don't know how they mobilized the youth, Abazukuru, and they said the president of Uganda should stand.
But by the way, I want to ask you something. What is this Bazukuru thing? Where does it come from?
It's the same with the thing.
I am sorry, I would like to ask.
Grandchildren.
Because in Buganda, the Bazukuru has a meaning. What is the meaning in this particular aspect?
In Uganda, I think these are grandchildren. They look at Yoweri Museveni as their grandfather.
No. In Buganda, the clan leader is called Jajja. And therefore, anybody in that clan is a grandchild of that Jajja.
Yes.
The other definition of it is like me now, who has got children, who have got children.
Yes.
Those are my grandchildren. Now, this Jajja you're talking about is a grandfather of who?
They are Ugandans who look at President Museveni as their grandfather.
Who are these?
These are the people endorsing him.
Oh, so when you endorse a politician, you become a grandchild?
No, according to them. And usually, who started this Bazukulu what? Who started using the Bazukulu whatever? It was President Yoweri Museveni. And they are saying...
You know, the reason I asked, because in Buganda it's a very, very important word. For a clan leader, let's say any clan, you can choose a lion, a leopard. The man at the top is the Jajja of that clan. And therefore, everybody there is the Muzukuru of that man. Now, I was wondering whether that is the context they are using, or if they are using the other context where the ordinary person is a Jajja to his grandchild.
Now, Honorable, if a young boy of 25 or 30 years meets you on the streets of Kampala and he calls you Tata, would you slap him?
No, I'm not putting in that context. You see, the problem with our people here, I brought it in a very nice context.
Yes.
I wanted people to understand where does this Jajja come from? If it is the clan system, then it makes sense. If it is the Jajja that is the Jajja of a son, the son has got children, then that is also understood. So I wanted to know which context is being used here.
Now, this is the way I was bringing it up. So, this Bazukulu launch, the 2026, they are not requesting him. They are ordering him to stand in 2026.
Yeah, but Mr. Gashumba, this is not the first time When we were in Chankwanze some time ago,
Yes.
somebody who is a minister now
Yes.
actually knelt.
And actually, if I can supplement on what you are saying, the president said in Kololo, it's not time for politics.
Absolutely.
But the same president in 2019, I think 2019, when the Honorable Rafael Magezi started this bid of removing the age limit, the president was interviewed and he said, no, those are idlers. They have nothing to do. You get it? And deep in him, there was a covert operation. For us who have lived in Kampala for some time.
So could this thing you're talking about now, of MK and his father, be a covert operation?
No. The MK team is totally independent.
No, but you said earlier on that if the old man comes, MK will not be coming.
Yeah, because
so is that already an agreed principle? You know?
General Yoweri Museveni, as long as he's the president of Uganda, is still ahead of everyone. He's still ahead of everyone.
Oh yeah, he's the president.
He's the president.
Yeah. Fountain of
Even
honor.
if Muhoozi wants to be the president tomorrow, unless he launches a coup, which is impossible here, which is impossible. The only person...
But he can stand.
He can stand, but who discharges him from the military? It's his father. One thing that we've successfully...
Oh, I thought it was the Army Council. I didn't know it was the father who discharges people. I thought it was the Army Council. But anyway, go ahead.
Senior, let me tell you.
As commander-in-chief?
Now, as the commander-in-chief, I think at the level, there are levels in the military where the commander-in-chief must be party whom they retire.
Yes.
I think so. That's
no,
what
you
I
know,
think.
you know these things we must learn.
Okay, because I think the ranks of captain and below, the commander-in-chief is not involved.
Oh.
But I think if you are at the level of a general, the commander-in-chief.
Oh, yeah.
But something we've achieved, people who believe in General MK as our next president, the ability to discuss him. It's called brand awareness and brand visibility. And something that I'm happy of.
You've now gone to marketing, are you?
Yes.
I'm going to soon charge him.
I'm telling you this.
I'm
telling you
soon
this.
going to charge
One of the
him
things that I'm happy of.
For the advert
we no
that
longer,
he's doing.
you can't, out of people that discuss General MK, out of 10, 7 are discussing.
But let me ask you a question. How about if another young man comes up who is as smart and actually campaigns, uses the method of consultation?
Yes.
Will you people accept it?
Me? I have no powers to stop him.
Your group.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
That's very, very...
You won't believe it. How many friends you
That's
have?
very considerate of you.
Charles, I want to come here and ask a few questions. As
Yes.
Please go ahead. Honorable Minister, you can also ask him. And just like he's asking you.
You know, like my elder said, we have a lot of issues to address
in this country.
Yeah. About our economy, our the convergence of nation states, socio-economic issues.
National unity.
Those national unities, the kind of the aspiration of Uganda we want.
Yeah.
There are a lot of issues that we can discuss. But President Museveni one time said the fundamental issue is about what, not who. And my question to my brother here, because even as they sit now, they are still part of NRM. Even the MPs who support MK, they are still elected on party ticket. The question is, what is it that they want to cure? The bottlenecks that they have seen, and the kind of approach which you have said. Key issues, because this should be around issues. What is it that you want to address?
What's the nuisance?
Yes, what's the nuisance that is disturbing you, that you're saying, you know, these people, and I've listened to him several times.
In law, we call it the mischief.
The mischief.
What is the mischief you
they,
want to
They want
address?
to cure. And he has fundamentally, you know, constantly mentioned it. Nothing is working. Elections is even not election is not even solving the problem.
And I think Honorable Boy should respond to that.
Actually, Honorable,
yes.
Elections in Uganda transform lives of people who are being elected and their families, not the ordinary voter. Because my where I hail from, Masaka, in Masaka, they are not interested. Who is the president of Uganda? They want functioning hospitals, good schools,
Yeah.
stable electricity. Honorable Bua, we are watching World Cup, but you won't believe it. Umeme switches off power.
No, they don't switch off. They just go off.
37 years of NRM, 60 years after independence.
My brother, I want to finish the question so that you can respond, either the minister or yourself. And then Charles, my brother again, severally said, we don't need parties or even democracy, because every year we are having an election, and it's actually meaningless. So we need to have one person come here, poop, and then fundamentally continues transforming the country. The question I ask is, constitutionally there are mechanisms of capturing power or ascending to leadership. In your worldview, how do you think that can be attained? Because if I want to be president, and I don't believe that elections matter and parties matter, or what, so what mechanisms are you going to use to access leadership or presidency so that you can govern? And then the last one, also relating to law, is that as far as I know, the presidential and parliamentary elections laws indicates that if you want to do consultation, you are allowed to do it, I think, 2 months prior to nomination. I think is it 1 year or 2 months? It's a limited period of time to nomination. I need to cross-check that. A lawyer outside there can help us.
I'm trying to recall the discussion which was had around 2016, 15,
yes.
When Honorable Amama Mbabazi was beginning to join the race.
Yes.
I think the law provides, I think I get reminded that it said someone can consult ahead of nomination.
Yes, that consultation.
In preparation.
Yes, that consultation is either 1 year or 2 months.
Yes, when he was about to travel to Mbale.
It was cramped at the bridge.
Yes.
So my question is that, are you not even violating?
The bridge was not safe, so they had to stop him.
Yes. So my question is, in your consultation, you are breaking the law. The law only allows you, let me say, 1 year to do nomination.
But Honorable Marap, I am not sure, but I want to hazard thinking here.
Yes.
That is consultation for purposes of
nomination,
of declaring your intention.
Yes.
But what about if you're just consulting
to
know whether or not you should stand?
For political purposes, it is inscribed in the law. There's a time frame. You can only do it, I think, is 1 year to nomination. Then you can consult during that time to gauge whether people want you or not.
Okay.
So by starting now,
you're making me believe what.
Who has started now?
You're making me believe the fears of France that don't allow your competitors to set the rules. Now they are trying to catch you by the rules.
And they have already started.
Let me first finish. You remember we are talking about upholding the law here, and I'm not saying in any way that the law is fair. The law is not fair.
No, it can never be.
Palmer is not a fair law.
No.
So even this one of 1 year to nomination is not a fair law, but that's the law we have. So if any other person, any other candidate wakes up today and said, no, me, I'm going on a consultation trail and I'm going to organize a big crowd.
The DPC will be there.
The DPC will be there, tear gas will be there. But my brother here is consulting freely.
No, but he gets permission.
In violation of the law.
The consultations we've made.
That is what I'm
We are into a soccer season.
Before you give us the answer, let me give you something very interesting. Let's not have historical amnesia. When we were going into the CA, Constituent Assembly, we didn't have parties, we didn't have anything. We came out with a system where candidates would go together to a village.
Joint political rallies.
All of them would be in a political rally, and each one of them would speak.
Yes.
And the people elected. If you look at our constituent assembly, probably one of the best.
I agree.
The people in there were of class and they were cream of this country.
Yes.
Then came 2005 when we went multi-party. From that day, we were put on top of the hill. We've been descending that hill at such a fast speed.
I agree with you.
That we are beginning to fall on each other.
I agree.
So all I was trying to tell you is that something was being done then, which seemed to work. And we quickly ran away from it and jumped into the fire. Because it was beginning to work. I was hoping that we would capture that scenario, continue with it to build, the foundation, so that we had a very strong foundation. Unfortunately, we never did, because we were in a hurry to do something else. So what you are seeing now are the consequences of our indecisive reasoning that we did around that time.
Okay.
So,
Sarah just text me something here that regarding the consultations they are doing. She says here that you write to EC and EC authorizes you, but there's no time limit. That's what she's saying. But I think we can cross-check.
There's no time limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So which means
the Honorable Boa, as government, I don't want to miss you to respond to, for the sake of our viewers. Honorable, not yet honorable, but Frank Gashumba says something which he has repeated it, and which I think in his argument seems to be that this is why we have been driven into the consultation. I like the word, these guys are very cunning, that we are consulting. But he says that one, that there is nothing that works, that everything right now in this country has gone wrong. That's number two.
That's what they want to cure.
We have been driven into this consultation and we are discussing with he called him our supreme leader, how Uganda can work better. Is that, Honorable Boa, an expression of some kind of indictment on your government, your administration, when the team that is doing the consultation suggests that everything is failing?
First and foremost, let me answer what Honorable Paul had posed, which was anchored on the mischief rule. That in doing whatever they're doing, what mischief are they curing? I think fundamentally there's no mischief to be cured, because if it is anchored on the quest for leadership, the people of Uganda have just elected their leaders. Have just elected. Now, on the question of consultation, as to whether it is a political consultation or just consulting for the sake, that is also something we need to know, because we talked about rules. But for me, I still want to believe that my friend and brother is still celebrating
the promotion,
his 48th birthday. Because I'm sure, and I was part and parcel of the very first, the one that was held at the National Council of Sports, the cricket ground. And I believe that my brother and friend is cognizant
of the
rules and regulations for that particular game. And these rules are in black and white. And I want to still state that should he, in the nearby future, decide on his own evolution to join that game fundamentally and in principle, he knows that there are rules that will guide. For now, I would want to believe that it's more of that rule in Parliament of anticipation until we cross the bridge. We have not yet crossed. But as I stated, there are principles that we share in common. When it talks about the next, I may agree with you, but the question is when. When you talk about the standby generator, I may agree with you, but I would tell you that the lights are still on.
But the
main power line is not yet switched off. It is still on and it is still supplying. So we can have our standby generator, but the main line is still on. Just like we are here, you can see the lights are still bright, implying the main line is still functional. Thank you.
As long as we agree that we have a standby generator and it's thermal powered. Something I want my seniors here to know. Much as we have the MK army, Sabalwany, the president of Uganda, he also has a team of Wabazukuru, highly powerful with a network across the country. They have even a wonderful slogan, Omalako Jajja, Tova Kumenyi.
Meaning what?
That is still competent.
Omalako.
Yes, Omalako.
That you are able.
You are able. You can even run in this country up to 2031.
That's what they're saying.
Yes, they have that right to say Omalako Jajja, Tova Kumenyi. You get, they have that right.
What does Toja Kumain mean?
Tova Kumenyi.
Tova Kumain.
Don't give up. We still have hope in you. That's the Bazukuru. Bazukuru telling their grandfather. You get it? And we've met them on several occasions. We are not fighting with them. Because for me, I believe in civilized politics. Even if we disagree, we don't have to quarrel or insult each other. That's what I believe in. They have the right to say, President Yoweri Museveni should stand in 2026.
As long as the Constitution allows it.
Yes, we also saying,
which it does.
We also requesting the Commander-in-Chief to retire our lion from the cage. But as long as
does he qualify for retirement?
Why not? He qualifies.
By the way, because I have read, if I think in the Act, in the UPDF Act, when you from a certain rank, I have taken long without looking at it, but there are certain basic rules and guidelines on if you're of a certain rank and of a certain age. Their reasons for you to retire are different from when, like it is easier for a captain who is say 55 to be retired than a general and a full general who is just 48, who has just celebrated 48 years. There you are still more needed in the military. You're really still energetic.
It goes back to the Commander-in-Chief. He's the one who decides.
If I ask you a question.
So the threshold for your qualification is really high.
Charles.
We are praying also.
Charles, the team has told you very clearly. Charles. The team has told us very clearly that for them they are tired of NRM. Their ways are not what they support. And they are willing to start another political organization. I read somewhere like National Progressive Movement, NPM. Now I'm just asking my brother, if the Commander-in-Chief were to grant your request and release MK tomorrow, and he still remains within the NRM, because he's the chairman of the NRM and the president, he releases you and said, General MK,
I've
retired you. Would you be comfortable to build your political organization and compete with NRM in 2026?
You know, we can't give our strategies and tactics to our competitors. We can't. Was it 2001? Dr. Kizza Besigye proposed the scrapping of our graduated tax.
Yes.
After 2 months later, the President Museveni did the same. We cannot give out our strategies on air. But trust me, if General MK is retired from the military tomorrow,
yes,
we'll be seeing a land, I don't even know, we'll be scoring like 80 to 89%.
But by the way, there's something very interesting from that political house.
Yeah.
Some time ago, there was another gentleman from that political house who put pictures all over this town and saying the youth are now here. Went even to West Nile, like you have done, and did the same there. That gentleman is still in that political house. Isn't he coming out? Who? Well, recently you said that nobody should come out of the same political house who is young. So I was wondering whether...
Someone put up posters out?
Oh, yes. This was in the last 2 elections. In fact, here near Golf Course, there was a very big picture of him saying that the youth are here now. Yes.
And where is he now? I don't recall his name.
But you see, I wonder, when does the youth stop? Because everybody is a youth, even with the grey hair. They are youth now. So I'm beginning.
And it's you seniors who started this?
No,
Seniors?
I never started anything.
Because I remember when we were growing up, I don't recall ever hearing a special project to do with the youth. Never. We hustled like hustlers.
We were the same.
Yes, but now...
No. That one you better talk to Mr. Gowi, Dr. Gowi, because the ministry is the one which looked at the people of Uganda.
By the way, he's not a doctor, so...
He's a professor?
No. It's a totally different issue.
Oh, okay.
So the PS for finance?
Yes. I was wondering whether the people in finance, they are the ones who came out with this thing about the youth, the disabled and whatnot. So the question is, the reason I'm saying this is that we've had somebody from the same political house going around the country also putting up these posters and talking about the youth. But he's the one who started, then the NUP group followed.
I'm going to inquire who is that.
Yeah, do please, because we follow. We follow.
You can volunteer information.
We follow.
Sir, can you volunteer?
You alleges.
No, I do not allege. Oh, by the way, I am one of the very few people who never allege. It's a fact.
He states.
Okay. So you state.
Yes, and my brother there, recently they said, in fact, in one of the tweets, they named that person, that he should not even dare. So the whole point I'm trying to say,
now I know.
if it is not melodrama, if it is not melodrama, you see, I told you, I never can quote things which are not there. If it is not melodrama, then what is it? Can you please help us? Maybe there's something that we are not getting. What is going on? Give us the real...
but you are part of NRM and they want to dislodge you. So you can't give you our strategies here.
No, the man on SEC is here. I'm no longer on the SEC.
I can tell you, seniors here, we are serious. We want a Uganda that serves all Ugandans. Not a Uganda that serves a few. That's the Uganda we are working for. But the gentleman you've just talked about... Now
can I help you? I saw a tweet by my good friend, Mr. Odrek Rabogo, and this was an early one, where he said, because you had talked about social media, and that social media is now the platform being used. In this tweet, which was trending yesterday, but it was from January 2022, he said,
is it authentic?
Yes, this was early.
January 2022.
He said, every day that we wake up and the country is full of noise with empty politics and shallow succession discussions is a day lost to productive thinking which goes in line with what the Honorable Chief Whip was saying, and support to our youth, which is what Honorable Babu was referring to. Those who waste time in these useless online chats and those that support them are the ones who are an enemy to our country. He's talking about the need for productive use of time, and that not engaging in the politics of current, excitement, and in line with what the Honorable Chief Whip was saying.
But I even said that, I said it earlier on this show, that we must even change the way people communicate on radio. But if you're talking of my brother Rabogo, he's also always online. So who judges who speaks sense or no sense? He's always on online. So nobody has the capacity to decide that this one is posting no sense or this one is posting rubbish. So who is the judge to decide that Gashumba posts rubbish, Charles posts sense? You get it? And I already, by the way...
But there is a government which can guide.
No.
The Obuas are here.
Government has no monopoly on information. Government has a monopoly on prisons. You get it?
There's a gentleman who talks about deep state. Maybe let him tell us about deep state.
You get it?
We are left with 3 minutes.
Let me tell you, Rabogo, he's an extremely intelligent person.
Deep state.
But he has no monopoly on information. You get it? The way you don't have monopoly on information. Nobody has a monopoly on information. For me, as the viewer of UBC, I can choose the shows
you want to watch.
Yes. Yeah. On social media, there are people I must check and see. For example, someone that I must read each and everything that he posts is called Andrew Mwenda. You may like him or disagree with him, but he's always accurate with facts. But there are people who call him each and every name you know of. President Yoweri Museveni, I disagree with him on many things, but I can never miss his speech. Never. And even my people at home know it. If he's on TV, they must record him. Dr. Kizza Besigye, those are the two people I don't miss. In the parliament, there are people like Semu Junganda. Okay, there are issues with the parliament. You know how our MPs debate. But there are people, what did Semu say? If Semu is on a local radio station, I'll tune in. You get it? That doesn't mean that Semu is the supreme and the omega of wisdom. It's us, we the Ugandans, to say that, you know what, this guy has a point. That's the way I think things should be. We on UBC now. There are Ugandans watching movies. It's their right. But you cannot say that those who are on social media, they are posting rubbish and nonsense. Tell us, by the way, you are party to this government now. You are senior presidential advisor. Tell us solutions you are coming up with.
Okay. Good. Way forward.
No, thank you very much, Charles and viewers. This has been quite an interesting discussion. The youth are becoming restless. And I think as the leaders of this country, we need to provide opportunities for them. And every Ugandan should find space and freedom to express themselves in any form of political organization that they prefer. And everything that we do, we must do it within the ambits of the law. I would agree that currently the economy is not doing very well. And politicking is not one of the things I would recommend at the moment. I think let's focus and deal with these fundamentals and see where we are going to go and how much we are going to recover, because without the stability of our country in terms of the economic welfare, there's very little much that we can do. And then secondly, the pillars, the vanguard of our democracy, of the states, is the army. We must do everything possible to make sure that that institution is safeguarded. Okay. And respected. In line, I mean, politics, we can do anything, but that institution is fundamental.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Honorable Chief Whip.
Thank you so much. I want to state that politics notwithstanding, it's important in the spirit of the pronouncement by the President in order for us to leave matters of elections at this point in time to come back one day and debate the economic question of the day.
Yeah.
What Brother Kashumba was talking about. What is it that these many young people in Uganda do not see in their own country, to the extent that they are persuaded to go to other parts of the world? And yet there are others who are coming here. What is it that we are not seeing? That is the economic question of the day. Because the moment we discuss that, that is what will put food on the plate of a young man, of a disabled, of a male, of a female, of any Ugandan. Then from there, we can have a political discussion.
Thank you very much.
And that is the spirit of the pronouncement by the president, that look here, please, we have a major stake to deliver services. Give us that opportunity to do it now. And to me, that is the fundamental question of the day. Salutations to you, fellow Ugandans. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Finally, Honorable Captain Babu.
Oh, thank you very much. You know, let me say something that people are saying. That there's so much sectarianism in this country that certain children from different parts do not get jobs.
Yes, that is
So when you say that children are walking around with degrees, no, they have degrees, but only special groups get jobs. In fact, to make it even more realistic, recently I started seeing all those who have been working in State House from bottom being given jobs in every organization. URA, State House.
Yeah.
So and so from State House. Visions Group, State House. So those groomed in State House can get jobs, but those who are not groomed in State House do not get jobs. So people are wondering, what is going on? Is this sectarianism where people do not get jobs in URA, where they don't get jobs in government agencies? People are really mad. Now, let us go to the very simple thing. Jobs are not enough for all our youths. First of all, the universities have expanded. We are producing a lot of children from these universities. They are going to need to find some sort of work. Then, as my friend said, some work, they don't even get paid. You know, they don't get paid very well. While as you could say, my daughter, why don't you just continue with that one until we get a better job? Others, she sits there and sees others coming through and getting a bigger job. Now, this must stop. Let the little we have be equitable. Let the little we have be given to different people in this country. And let's stop being sectarian. I'm sorry, I am not going to be polite about this. I'm not going to apologize about this. This is what the people are saying out there. They are saying it openly. So, what can we do? First of all, we know the jobs are not enough. The manpower survey has clearly made that very clear. The jobs which are available are not enough for all our children. How do we make other areas, for example, how do we make agriculture have jobs for our children?
Attractive.
And be attractive.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do we make
to the young people?
Yeah, how do we make fisheries attractive? How do we make dairying is becoming very attractive?
Vocational training.
Have you realized dairying is becoming attractive?
Yeah.
Milk is being sold every day,
and
it's been organized very well, and it's doing a fantastic job.
Yes.
And the people in that area, their children have got work to do. In fact, some of them are saying, why should I live here and go to Kampala to walk around in the street to look for a job when I can do I can get much better on the farm? So we need to sit down as Ugandans. But I'd like to thank all those who want to become leaders of this country. I'd like to thank them. We need leaders. But leaders must also have discipline. They must know that the people they are talking to, we understand what is going on. In fact, those youth you're talking about understand it more than some of you think they know.
Yeah.
They know what you're saying. Now, let me also go to this one. Maybe some of the things you're doing might actually end up embarrassing all of you. The people of Uganda might decide to embarrass you. So let us calm down. I don't mind anybody standing for elections. I don't care whose son or whose daughter. They can stand for elections, but let's do it the right way. Let us also have a bit of discipline. Let us respect the voters. Let us, the voters, know, yes, these people are good leaders. They are coming to ask for a vote, and tell them what they would like, how you are going to help them to get there. I just had somebody in America winning a Senate seat, and the way he spoke to the people after he won the Senate seat, somewhere in the south of the United States, and he's gone to the Senate. And he won out of a very stiff competition.
Yeah.
Now, we would like our Ugandans, the young people, to stand for elections and win out of real competition, not out of rigging elections, not after stealing elections, not of buying voters. We want people, these people who want to stand so that they can compete. And I know there's a lot of young people. You talked about 48 years, between 40 and about 60, who would like to stand for election, even for presidency. They are there.
We are many.
And you're one of them.
Oh, thank you.
I like all you.
Thank you for. Thank you for that confidence.
I like to thank our viewers. I like to thank our panelists. They've been very good. I like to thank all of you and wish you,
brains.
And by the way, may I wish all of you Merry Christmas.
Thank you. Thank you. Same to you.
So fast.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
we will
already
not meet
Christmas.
again.
We are Merry Christmas.
Today is 7th.
Yes.
But most likely we will call you to have another discussion. Then.
But I want to wish our viewers Merry Christmas.
Yeah. Thank you.
I want to wish our viewers a very happy holiday.
Christmas come early.
And this is a peaceful month.
Oh, yes.
Can these people who are making melodrama also make it peaceful?
Frank has said so. He has assured us. Thank you very much, Honorable Captain Babu. A senior citizen, like the TWIPs have said, and but senior indeed, and very mature in your thoughts and in honesty and the candor with which you present. It's important that Ugandans share these thoughts. Thank you very much, Honorable Chief Whip, my friend Honorable Hamson Obua. I know you're very busy and managing on a work day like today, managing your colleagues and running Parliament. It's not easy.
Whether his colleagues don't manage him.
I sometimes they frustrate him. I know that office, but I think he manages.
300 and something people is not a small number.
Yes, not a small number, and it's a place for building leaders, like you said. Thank you very much, Honorable Paul Omara. Always making time available whenever we need you, and what a great debate. Frank, you made an appearance. You have not disappointed, and you have been great. You have been very energetic, enthusiastic, you know, and
about the brand
and honest with your thoughts.
Yeah, brand visibility.
He talks about. He's a marketing person. He said brand visibility must be promoted.
Yeah,
release the lion.
Yes.
One day I will invite Honorable Bua back to the discussion of what has gone wrong that Frank continuously referred to, so that we can have a...
But about the recession, the best brains ever, Mr. President, summon them.
Okay.
Not us.
Yeah.
Not us. If power goes off here, can we invite you?
I'm available.
No, you're lying. Can you switch on power if it's off?
We will use a standby generator.
Thank you.
I want us to get Obua and his predecessor now to come and tell us how we can go into the World Cup next time.
Okay. And that's Honorable Gwang Peter. Thank you very much to Ugandans, the viewers out there, for watching and for sitting by to watch this show with us. And especially I want to thank those who share their views and through questions, comments from all over the world, and especially throughout the country. Thank you very much. The technical team, Margaret and your team, my producer, Etiang, Thomas, and all of the other colleagues that we work with behind the cameras, behind the screens. Thank you very much for bringing this show to Uganda and to the world. Until next week, God bless you. Be peaceful. Whatever your ambitions, whatever you're chasing, make sure especially when you are a young person. Do it peacefully and know that Uganda is bigger than you and I, all of us. Good night. God bless you. Bye-bye.